Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to a story about my uncle. I've decided to change some audio, some visual things. Uh, the brightness gamma now is at 1.0, and in the caves, that definitely seems like that is the right move for me. I think that brightens up everything very nicely. Um, Also, I've turned off speed lines, whatever that is. In the last episode, we were introduced to actual like frog creature people that exist, which I was not expecting really to see any kind of life forms. And that's going to be kind of hard to get back to where we were. Um, and we've been now sent on a quest to go beyond the caves to a dangerous area, apparently, and save Fred, who the frog people as a society want back also. Now we see that there still are bridges, and one assumes some of that was built for Fred or by Fred. We also are seeing cracks in the wall now, and this always indicates that there's a memory, so and it seems to be numbered, so I've probably missed out on more of these than I would have wanted to. Alright, so here you have a depiction of salamander or frogs evolving and becoming frog people, and then eventually de-evolving and dying and becoming frog people again, or becoming eggs. So they might be an immortal species that revert back to eggs in their
Tell me
death form.
something else you did with Fred.
Well, early one summer morning, Fred took me down to the lake to watch the mayflies. Everything was still and quiet. The larvae floated on the lake's surface and slowly transformed into beautiful mayflies. Fred told me that they had been living on the bottom of that lake for a whole year, and that they would only live as adults for one single day.
That's sad. What if the only day you were out of the water was a rainy day?
That would be sad indeed.
So these are memory spots, I guess, not always directly having anything to do with Fred. Alright, there's no way I'm gonna be able to recover this. It's a little bit odd that we even had the opportunity there to um, to climb up by the walls. It seems like the game is getting a little bit more generous on where we can fling ourselves and connect to. So that's where we were before. Of course, had I jumped up here and gotten the checkpoint, then jumped over there, that would have saved me some time. Right. We have 3, and we see 1, 2, 3, 4 places, which maybe indicates that Fred had more energy than even my suit can handle. Alright, fling me, hopefully in the right direction. Yeah, at the core of it, though, the the actual gameplay mechanic here, I think, falls apart fairly quickly. Like, this is the type of game where I could easily see myself getting more annoyed by it because it decided to take more of my time than it deserved versus um, versus a game where uh, the the creators may just shortchange you and give you a like 2 or 3 hour experience. Like I'd be kind of fine with a 3 or 4, 2 to 3 hour experience in the game like this if they're not gonna produce anything new as far as any real challenge or combat. Here we can see all kinds of flies flying around and see visually that looks like that is the direction that they want you to go, and that this might be a more dangerous direction to go. We're still in the darkness here. Like, I don't know what this is supposed to indicate. Oh man. We came from that way. Seems like there might be something further in the background this way, but maybe not. It's just a lot of little secret alcoves, and then some writing, and if I fling myself up really high, did I see anything? I don't think so. We do have a plant here that I thought was a statue. Yep, up there in that general direction is some thing. Like, I can hear it. More and more of these meter readings are getting hidden. And okay, well, I found one thing. We're seeing like different writing, and this is probably Fred writing some weird different language. Or this is some different species of characters. Maddie is the girl.
I'm glad you came. Sorry about back there. I just get so frustrated. They cling so desperately to what they know. Won't
I
ever
wish
do
they'd
anything new.
control me and just
It feels
adjust.
better when Fred is around.
They would just
I told
adjust
Madeline I
the
didn't mind, and I asked her what she
camera
was doing.
angle and make it a cutscene.
Oh, these writings? It's like a secret language. They're done by people who left the village long ago. They're called the Strays, but no one wants to talk about them. I started translating their language with help from a stray book that Fred found. This one says, "Don't move when the eye is open," I think. I wonder what it means. Whatever. We should get going. Why don't you take me on your back? It'll be faster if you carry me. I used to piggyback on Fred all the time. Turn around and I'll hop up.
Okay.
You're not going to drop me, right?
Oh, totally.
Okay, let's go.
Madeline climbed up on my back, and with the suit on, I could barely feel the extra weight.
So we're just gonna play the rest of the game, I think, with the frog on her back. Okay. Whatever. So there's a second group of seemingly the same species who left seemingly at a long enough time that
The winding, narrow tunnels felt like
they've
were
been
closing
forgotten.
in on me. They were oddly long and twisting, almost like someone or something had dug them out. With Maddie on my back, I had to be careful not to bump her head on the ceiling.
Okay, so there's that red spot there. And oops. Seemingly enough places to fall just down either dark pits, which might be safe to walk on. Yeah, even turning up the gamma though, you definitely are seeing a spot here where the you'll run into problems making a game like this. Alright, come on. Nope, I'm gonna fall to my death and potentially Yep. So you gotta fling yourself up, but not fling yourself up too much. Man, these are concepts of platforming more than successful implementations of platforming. Like, and see, if this was like a frustration replaying game where you had to do these jumps perfectly and maybe there were enemies around and you had to, like, with absolute accurate precision, stomp on their heads or shoot them or slash their throats, maybe that level of challenge that I'm running into would make sense.
Let us start anew. The Strays were ordinary people living in the village long ago. They disagreed with the old traditions and left to form their own village, or they were thrown out for misbehaving. The stories differ a bit.
Interesting. Now, I didn't really see anything that looked like an eye that was open. I don't think I'm going that way. I think we're making a mad dash this direction to fling ourselves that way, to fling ourselves that way, to fling ourselves that way, and not get enough momentum still to actually make it. This does not feel like it was tested well enough. It's laughable how easy it is to fail here. Now, in all fairness, perhaps in a lot of games where you might have a movement mechanic or a sequence like this, this would all be cheated to the max, and there actually would be no way you could fail. It would lock you into specific momentums and specific pathways, so you could not actually drop the ball. But this definitely does not feel like it's doing that. This feels like it is totally willing to kick you in the nards and just let you fail over and over and over again. And that's a great way to get a rage quit out of a player, certainly. Like, there's seemingly absolutely no way to bypass that
Seemingly
group of
bottomless
jumps.
pits loomed below us, everywhere in the cave. The further we got, the more I felt like what faint light existed down there was getting fainter. I was really glad that I wasn't alone.
It does kind of feel like they are going to make the game incredibly darker, and I don't think I can really agree with that. I don't even know what I'm really supposed to do here, so I'm going to take that and take that. And is there any platform? No. So, best I can figure, I'm supposed to do this, swing, hit that, and then hit that, and hope that. Did I hit the ground? Yeah. By crashing into the wall, that technically was hitting the ground, so I could have tried it further. But you obviously aren't going to have much time to make adjustments on any of these.
Beware. Of what?
Well, over here we can hear a collectible, so we should get it. And Maddie didn't say anything about the meter readings. Now, if this was a case where the frogs themselves are going to potentially be exposed because the caves are going to pop open. I want to see if I can land on these mushrooms. Nope, seems like you clip right through them. Good. That eliminates a potential platforming aspect of the game. Yeah, if the caves were going to like explode or the rocks were going to fly away and they were going to be exposed, and that's why Fred is investigating and doing all these scans, that might make sense. Could be any number of other reasons. It does seem like these strays and their floating rock technology has failed. Yep, and
What
that
was that?
sounds like
I
a
never heard a creature sounding this
giant
terrifying,
creature.
and I imagined it wouldn't be happy about visitors.
No recovery there. I imagine we won't ever get a custom death sequence. Come on, pull me around that rock. Or through the rock, I don't care. Just don't let me die. Oh. That was asking for too much, obviously. There we go. So, I guess it is a case of the game just taking us now to another village and maybe repeating some content here. We have another memory somewhere around here. Like the storyline wants us to go that way. I think there might be something up that way. No, this seems too dark for there to be anything there. So then If something's up, it's gotta be somewhere over here. Could I make a long jump and reach that? I don't think so. Alright. Maybe the top path is the normal path. And maybe the bottom path is the path. Like even going out on a limb, literally. Doesn't seem right. Maybe it's this area. Maybe you're supposed to fling yourself to that platform. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to just resolve to assume that I don't get to find all these collectible areas and all these memories. Which kind of stinks because it does imply that you're going to potentially not really be able to get all the story unless you play this game really, really well. And I don't know. I think you have kind of a weird catch-22 here where the game wants you to potentially play slowly and find all the collectibles, but then there's not a lot here to keep you interested in playing slowly and finding all the collectibles. And also it wants you to play fastly and in a time trial mode and fling yourself and get the rush of playing in that form. You really just can't have it both ways. Either this is a fast-paced Mirror's Edge style parkour game, which this totally does not compare in any way to Mirror's Edge, or it's a slow-paced 3D platforming game, something a la I don't even know a good comparison to it, because usually a slow 3D platforming game would just have so much more in it. If I said Assassin's Creed, that would be totally wrong. If I said Mario 64, that would be totally wrong.
See that glowing plant over there? I bet something will happen if you use your grapple on it.
Which glowing plant? They're all glowing plants. I mean, seriously. You have to be more careful about these audio triggers if that's what you're...
Told you so.
Okay. Well, we've seen these plants before, and they apparently brighten up the area for a brief time. Which probably means I need to try and keep myself in the light. But where to next? Yeah. it's not a particularly good plant to be the one plant that lights up when you shoot it. It's too low to the ground and too easy to miss. Alright, well. And here we go. I guess I'm going this way.
It is really dark down there. You're not scared, are you? 'Cause I'm not.
So am I supposed to jump down that direction, or am I supposed to, like, the problem here is you don't have an infinite shot where you could just shoot these plants and potentially light them up, and ideally light them up permanently. So this points me in this general direction, which makes me think I'm supposed to go this way. I'll just guide myself a little bit in the direction I think I'm supposed to go. Then it's almost as if the symbol is trying to point you in specific directions. This little fish-like symbol, but I don't think that's the goal. Or at least not completely the goal. Oh, now we've got stone platforms, which no way you'd be able to see them at all. Alright, do I want to jump upward and pull myself to the ground? I guess I do. And I imagine they want you to probably run through this. That way you know where you are and what you're doing. Alright, so let's go and hit that again. Jump up and pull ourselves to the ground. This feels more like a roller coaster ride than a environment. And I don't know if I'm not just going in circles. Honestly, I feel like I could be doing exactly that. And there's the danger. The ultimate danger. See, I think they probably do want me to hit the plant. I have no idea where I am now. And any mistake will fling me back somewhere. Let's just fling ourselves that way.
My people since the first villager was born. He helped us build the village, taught us how to speak, and helps us with everything. He taught me how to read and write as well. That's how I could learn to read the writing on the walls.
So that does imply that days are fairly highly intelligent creatures that do seem to live a shortened life. Either that or Fred and this world, time moves differently, because there's really no way this would make sense otherwise. Maybe we can hear another collectible. Not that I'm actually gonna get all the collectibles. For an unlockable go to unlock it. Alright, well, I can't say I hate the idea of putting unlockables in your game. So now we can change our beam color to whatever we want. Probably don't want to change it to red, but I also don't want to waste a bunch of time around that. Also, I've gotten all the collectibles in this level, so I'm probably fairly close. Alright, so now it's just a red color. Actually, well, that's not very pretty. That might help a little bit if we could find a color that contrasted a little bit. Do we want to go yellow? No, I don't think we want yellow. Do we want to go green? Probably not a lot of green. There'll be plants that would contrast with green. Do we want to go blue? No, because the symbols we've been seeing have been blue. We probably want something that is either like a bright purple. Let's see, or yeah. Bright purple, reddish. There we go. That stands out visually quite differently from most of the other things we see in the cave. And we're seeing these little twinkles. Are those eyes?
Get back!
So, apparently, have you has Maddie seen this character before?
Whoa, dude! I think I figured out what that writing was going on about. Maybe we shouldn't charge right out in front of that thing. Remember what it said. Don't move when the eye is open.
So they just remind you of that. That definitely looks like it's been slightly animated differently, but we've seen lots of underground giant worms in video games, and this definitely seems like this is at least 50% pre-purchased assets. Alright. And they brighten the whole area up before he opens his eyes, so I assume they're going to give you a bit of a reprieve. There. Is there enough time to make 2 moves? Probably. Nice drum beat sound effects too. And still, you're still gonna run into the same problems though, aren't you? How much movement is too much movement? Can I move on a platform basis, or should I not move at all? I feel like if you're not careful, you're gonna die testing those kinds of questions. Weird side blinker on the character. And I guess we now know what the long tunnels were all about. I don't know what the point of having teeth on one side of your face will do for you, though. That's not really going to help you. There must be some something else I missed there. Yeah, having teeth on only one side of your face is not a great way to eat. Okay, so any small movement does trigger him, but they do have a nice little sound effect and give you a chance to correct. Okay. If I make a long jump this way, I don't think I make it. So where's the platform? Hmm. Hmm. Is there another way to go? This is the kind of example of a platforming game boss where you're not actually going to do anything, so it puts you in a weird position. It seems like he's surrounded by water, so I don't think I can just get next to him. Oh, there is a platform in the middle there, isn't it? Right. Yeah, there's some kind of floating platform that I really don't see, but seems to be in the middle. So let's see if we can find it. There it is. So that's what we're going for. And the cycle here is probably about as good as you can get it. Like, you could certainly have him be asleep more and benefit from that. But then that might just increase the cockiness of players. You could potentially have him just look forward and not look left and right and then back and left and right. Come on. Alright, now where do we go? I have no clue. I guess maybe this way?
Yes, we did it! You're awesome. I knew you had it in you.
That was close. We had made it through, and I felt like nothing could stand in our way of finding Fred.
And then it always just fades out and puts you in a new level. I guess speed lines work, though. Like, with the speed lines off, I'm seeing significantly less screen tearing. And we got collectibles. Let's look at the other unlockables and see. Like, the next thing would be goat mode. I will say, since the next game that these creators made was Goat Simulator also does basically have the same flinging mechanism, but instead of trying to fix any bugs that may have been fixed in a game like this, they embrace the bugs and the silliness and the wonkiness with it to the biggest extreme. Um, but I think there probably is an argument to say that the flinging physics concept um, in their programming base is on flawed foundation in a lot of ways. It is probably not the best idea to make a flinging game as your first game. From what I can tell, it is their first game. The developers of this in Goat Simulator, because then your next game kind of has to build on what you learned in the first game. And had they just made a standard platformer where you jump, that would have taught the creators to make practically any game, because almost every game has a character that jumps. Very few games have characters that fling themselves. Had there been more focus here on standard either first person shooting, hack and slash sword play, um, thoughts around RPG mechanics or quests, or, you know, pretty much anything, even little mini puzzle solving elements, those all would have trained the players with a better skill set than a skill set that really only benefits itself to make something like Goat Simulator. And even in Goat Simulator, as they've constantly tried to add more and more content to it, and make it pretend like it's other kinds of games as a joke, I don't know if they really are teaching themselves how to program games like that. There's a point in Goat Simulator where you play as a goat simulator RPG, and it's really more of a joke than an actual RPG game. I suppose if they had flipped it the other way and Goat Simulator had been the first game they made, and it was just a silly physics game, all right, that's fine. Then that technology may have worked to make you some money so that you could then develop a real game, quote unquote, for your second game. But I think they've kind of painted themselves into a corner at this point where they can only make physics games and flinging games. And it's going to be really hard for them to potentially break away from that. Or if you look at something like Portal and Portal 2, that's a fleeing game, sure, with physics, but they massively overshot the quality of Portal, Valve did, by having a very tight story in it and a very likable character in Chell and GLaDOS, two likable characters, really. And they also put a bunch of puzzles in it, so there was real reason to get good at flinging yourself. Here, I don't feel like I have any motivation at all to get better than what is necessary to get from the beginning of a chapter to the end of a chapter. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to further follow me, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.